This video is brought to you by the FARMER-KLEIN YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Elm Creek. Elm Creek is one of the base game maps that is included with Farming Simulator 22. And I'm going to read a little bit of the blog post that came out at the end of October in lieu of a description. A rocky canyon, hidden cave, railway underpass, a baseball stadium, and more, all divided by rivers and streams in an atmospheric Midwestern landscape. That is what to expect when farming in Elm Creek. Elm Creek is inspired by the U.S. Midwest with an out-of-town feeling, various increases and decreases in land elevation, vast areas of farmlands with enough room to grow your farm, 81 predefined fields, and I have to say that is likely the largest number of fields available on any base game map to date. Various field shapes and sizes from small to big, and various other things to discover. Now, before we get into the map, this video is brought to you by Stubborn Disciple Plays. Thank you for being a farm baron. Let's just go ahead and load on in. Now, we are loading this map up in new farmer mode. If you do load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, it will look a little bit different than what we see here in new farmer mode. I'll go ahead and explain those differences to you right now. And that is in farm manager or start from scratch. The farmhouse is not here. The silo system is not here, but everything else is, except for machinery. So the big red barn and the silo attached to the barn, that remains, oddly enough. The shed in the background there, that remains. And this garage remains in all play modes. Now, you can go in and demolish all three of these buildings that remain, if you should so wish. But it's interesting that they're still here in all play modes. Why they're not missing in the other play modes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map. So in new farmer mode, we start out with fields 44, 45, and 46. And this main farm here, which is separated by the creek and the main road through town. We do have a biogas plant over here, and unlike what we did in Farm Sim 19, we're going to have to go over there and see what the price is because we cannot buy the biogas plant from this particular menu. You can see we have all of the standard crops available to us here on Farm Sim 22, and boy, there is quite a list for sure. In fact, the list goes on to a second page now. Let's go ahead and go back to the lands area and just take a look at some of the other land prices on the map. Field 70 is one of the biggest pieces of property, $772,000. Field 32, $510,000. And Field 10, $429,000. So those are some big properties. There's also some smaller properties. $260,000 will buy you 3 fields up here and a virtual player farm. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Over here we have some other sets of fields. $161,000 for 4 fields. Another virtual player farm up here in the northwest, $577,000. There's another virtual farm right here for $268,000. Another virtual farm for $471,000 right next door. We have another virtual farm down here in the southeast for $244,000. And then yet another virtual farm right over here in the southwest for $243,000. In total, there are approximately 6 farms that you could potentially play at because they have ownable land, but only one of those farms will allow you to sell the buildings. And that is, in my opinion, the biggest disappointment of this map. And we're going to talk about that later. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting fleet. We start out with 3 sets of tractors, the John Deere 4755, the John Deere 7810, and the Massey Ferguson 3670. As far as harvesters go, we have the Deutz Topliner 4090H. We have the 1986 pickup truck. We have the Welger DK115 trailer. We have the Topliner 4090 grain header. We have the Rabe EG309 cultivator. The Nordstein HK25 plus NS 3030 seeder. We have the Dutzfar Topliner 4090 header trailer. And then we have 2 pairs of weights. Wow, that was quite interesting. Nothing is leased on the farmland here. Now let's go ahead and just do a little bit of a tour. So we do have our farmhouse, which we do have the sleep trigger. If you're new to Farming Simulator 22, unlike FS19, the sleep trigger will allow you to sleep any time of the day. And instead of setting the number of hours you want to sleep, you set when you want to wake up. So here we want to wake up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 5 a.m., 6, 7, or 8 a.m. So if we wanted to, we could sleep right now and wake up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Now, since the sleep trigger is tied to the farmhouse, we cannot place sleep triggers at any of the other farms because there isn't a placeable sleep trigger that isn't tied to a farmhouse, and the farmhouse is $150,000, and we cannot sell, like I said, we cannot sell any of the other houses on any of the other virtual farms pieces of property. It's a major disappointment, and really, I hope that we see that change. I want to see a placeable sleep trigger from Giants. I know we're going to have placeable sleep triggers from modders all over. I would love to see a placeable sleep trigger from Giants that would allow us to make use of those non-sellable virtual farmhouses at those other farms. So we've got a really cool garage here, which we can sell. Sadly, we cannot buy it. It would be really nice to be able to buy it. If we can sell it, I would love to be able to buy it. That really needs to be kind of the metric going forward. And this map includes 100 collectibles. So if you go around, and you're going to find various wooden toys scattered around the map, those are collectibles. And when you collect all 100, honestly, I do not know what's going to happen, but I think it's probably going to be something rather interesting. Here we have our farm silo. So we have our dump station and our fill pipe. That silo will accept all standard grains. And then over here we have a barn. And again, this barn cannot be sold, or can be sold, sorry. This barn can be sold, but it cannot be repurchased. So I think that is also a big downfall. Now, this barn has a really interesting kind of downstairs with a little diorama. I guess that's what you call it. A little 3D diorama of Elm Creek. It's pretty neat. It's got this little section here. I've never been successful in actually putting it back in the frame. I've come close putting it back in the frame before, but I've never been successful in really getting it to settle in to the frame. It just doesn't seem to want to fit. Oh, I may have just done it. That's about the best I've ever done it. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting little thing going on here. And this building, you can really see the parallax occlusion that's going on with respect to the stonework. Really, really cool. This is a usable downstairs portion of the building. So the sheds do open and close. This building is another little bit of a disappointment. It is just a static building. That is it, just a static building. Can't go inside it whatsoever. Why do we have static buildings on our farms at these points in time? I do not know. Quite frankly, every building should be able to be entered into. Every building as a standard should be able to be sold. That, in my opinion, should be the benchmark for any Giants delivered or, quite frankly, mod delivered map. In fact, if you go back and watch the map review methodology video that was recently published in the Farm Sim 22 map reviews playlist, I'm going to outline all of the aspects that every map video going forward, including this one, is going to be rated under. So now we've got our map tour done, or our farm tour done. Let's go ahead and get set up for fly around. We're going to fly around the map and take a look at it from above. We're going to go to the shop, buy our handy dandy trusty Mahindra, and do a drive around to all of the sell points, as well as all of the other virtual farms and production areas on the map. Now, this map makes use of 10 of the 11 possible productions that are base game to Farm Sim 22. So that is a really, really good ratio of production elements. In fact, let's go ahead and read off those production elements. This map includes a biogas plant, bakery, carpentry, cereal factory, dairy, the oil mill, grape processing unit, spinnery, the grain mill, and the sawmill. So those are all pre-placed on the map, available for the player to purchase. So as you can see, the map is mostly flat down here in the farmland area, but to the north, it starts to get a little bit hilly. Not super hilly, just a little bit of hill going on. This map has excellent distance scenery. In fact, you could run right up to the, or drive right up to the map border, run into the map collision, and really not even realize what happened until you've already done it. So we've got the main drag that we just came out of. Now we're coming into kind of maybe downtown Elm Creek, if you will, where we have the baseball stadium. Several sell points, production elements are down here. We're going to take a closer look at all of that when we get around to the drive around. We do have a train that traverses the map. The train can be loaded with product and then used to sell at an off-map sell point. Now we're coming down here to one of the virtual player farms that I'm describing it. And like I said, you can buy this land, but none of these buildings can be sold. And I think that is a major, major downfall of this particular map, if there is going to be a downfall. So we've got permanent structures that we can't sell, permanent structures whose doors do not open. Even if we own the land, these doors do not open. Very attractive permanent structures, but nonetheless, I would love to be able to make use of these buildings since they're going to be here on this piece of property. And like I said, we've got a really nice farmhouse here. We can't make use of it in any sort of way with a placeable sleep trigger. We can't sell it, and nobody's going to want to put down a second farmhouse for $150,000 just to make use of this area. But we do have a decent area right here in order to put down placeable buildings, and then we can make use of possibly these fields to further expand this farm, should we so wish. Let's run up the western side of the map at this point. We do have a divided highway that splits the map kind of in a diagonal fashion. Coming up to one of the forests here on the map on this hill located right here. Our animal dealer is over to the right. Got some more sell points. Our sawmill log sell point is directly below. And then further on up here, this is another one of the non-player farms that really could be a player farm. Again, if we had the ability to put down a sleep trigger at the farmhouse and make use of these fine buildings. You know, this barn, sadly, we really can't make use of inside. This shed up here we cannot make use of, but it would really be nice if these doors did open and we could make use of it, or if at the least we could sell it and then have that land space available to us. Same with this farmhouse. It is 100% decorative. Would love for it to include the ability to have a sleep trigger. Because the land over here, very scenic, very nice. Quite frankly, this is, in my opinion, the best Giants map I have ever seen. I put this map above the French map. I put this map above Erlengrot. I put this map above every other map that I have ever seen come out of the Giants workshop, if you will. So over here we have several field areas up here on the hillside. I believe these are available for seeding right here. We have a lovely flowing river cutting through the landscape here, going over to a covered bridge. Then we have a nice decorative element in a corn maze here on the hillside, an observation tower, and a very, very lovely abandoned barn there. We have a bit of a kind of a campground, nature area, kind of a ravine. Really cool little area. I really suggest you kind of go down there and explore. That's going to bring us around to two more virtual possible farm areas, but not. In fact, this farm, it's been profiled in the preview, the map loading image that we started out with is this farm. It includes what looks like a silo system, but there are no triggers. This is just visual. So that is a really big disappointment. And remember how I told you this map had 100 collectibles? Well, there's 4 of them right there. Now, just down the hill and on the other side of this tree line, we have another possible player farm area that we have seen in several other kind of press images, publicity images of this particular map. Again, those buildings sadly are not usable. Now, before we cross the highway, we've got this really cool kind of campground area tucked away in here inside the trees. Another possible player farm, if we could only make use of the buildings or sell the land, up here in the northeast of the map, the extreme northeast of the map here. I mean, this would be really, really good real estate with these field layouts. And quite honestly, I think we're going to see this map get a lot of player edits. We just won't ever see those edits on the Giants website. So console players, you won't be able to experience those edits, but I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of edits come out of this particular map. And probably we're going to see those virtual farms be completely redesigned so that they're actually usable. So here we have the biogas plant, and let's just go ahead and kind of touch down here and see how much this is going to cost us to buy. So we need to come over here to the wrench icon. And it's going to cost us $1.5 million to buy. When we buy the biogas plant, we're also going to get these 2 large 3-sided bunkers. We get the shed. We get the 2 digesters. And then our digestate out is directly right there. But really, I mean, it's hard to say that this map has visually a downside, right? It's hard to say that this map has a downside other than the inability to use those other possible farmland areas. They're clearly set up as farms. They have fields right around them. They have sheds. They have farmhouses. Heck, one even has a silo. But we can't make use of it. We can't sell the buildings. We can't make use of land. I know I'm harping on this. It's very important, in my opinion, at this day and age, with the build your own farm, start from scratch, farm manager, where you are expected to place things, the amount of placeables that we now have in Farm Sim 22. And I was really looking forward to this map and really hoping that all of these photos that we were seeing of all these possible player farms would be more than decoration. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. And do our drive around. So we do have a fairly large area here for vehicles to spawn in at. So that is good to know because we do have some pretty large pieces of property here on this map. So those large pieces of property are going to require large pieces of machinery and lots of pieces of machinery. And that's what we're going to be able to do right here at the shop. So here at the shop, we've got our shop trigger, Clever Motors. We move down, we have our maintenance, repair, customize, sell point, repainting trigger right here. Now we're going to move on to the next sell point, which is right across the road. And this is the, what is this? This is the bakery. Bakery is going to be where we bring various products in order to make breads and cakes. So that is a production facility that we could buy. as we progress down the main drag here, we have our player farm coming up over here to the left. Several farms coming in just on the outside. This guy, when I saw this yard, I'm thinking, oh, everybody's got this guy. The guy that really just lets his yard go. He's got overgrown bushes. Just, you know, it's just... Oh, and now he's got a knocked over mailbox. Oh, that's just terrible. I feel sorry for him. Going up here, we have the diner as a sell point. We have our fuel station, Marathon 42, and then our starting farm is right across the street from that. Now we will motor down the central roadway here and make our way over. Oops, sorry. We've got to turn back over here and get to the grocery. Grocery is a sell point. I saw a trigger here, an interactive trigger. So, okay, this is where we can change our clothing at here on Elm Creek at the laundromat. I was actually a little curious where that was. I know on the French map, our wardrobe is in our garage. We can basically go to our garage and change our clothes. I wasn't really sure where it was on this map until right now. So, +1 for me. My map tour has helped me find stuff on this map. So, loading dock is where we're going to sell our product here at the grocery. I'm going to go ahead and just follow this road on. I'm not going to hop on the interstate at this point. Next thing we're going to come up to is the animal dealer. Oh my gosh, these AI traffics. They still just blow through stop signs. Are they ever going to get better? Did this on a live stream. Drove through that. Here we have our animal dealer trigger. We do not have any animals on the map at the start. Once you place an animal area, you'll be able to buy your animals from here. This is also a sell point, so here is your dump station. Now, what I find so deja vu about this map is we've seen so many still shots of this map. As you drive around corners, you come upon various scenes and you're like, I've seen that before. Now I know where that is on the map based on the image we saw earlier. So we're coming up here to the farmer's market sell point. So we have 2 dump stations depending on the product that we are bringing here. A grain dump station or just a regular dump station. Again, we're just taking a look at this. Use of the new parallax occlusion on the stone walls, on the brick walls, on the gravel. Would really love to hear your all's thoughts on this particular map down in the comments below. I know some new time viewers of to the channel are often maybe a little surprised that that I respond to these comments. I actually do and are interested in your all's thoughts on things like these maps. I'll make our way back around. There's a few more sell points. I should say sell points or production elements. Miller's Sawmill. So we have the log sell point and the wood chip sell point back here. So here we have a dump station, a log sell point. We can also buy this production sawmill for $100,000. And then around the back, I believe we have the wood chip area. Nope, the wood chip dump station right there. So with that, let's make, I believe we can take this road down and around the interstate. We'll do a little in-cab driving at this point. Everything on this map just looks so well. And that's why it's a little bittersweet on the whole other player farms thing. So with respect to how we are scoring these maps now, first point, production built in to the map or have areas for placement as such. The fact that this map has 10 out of 11 productions pre-placed really makes this, I'm just going to give this a full point for that particular scoring. Include all sell points for all included crops, base game production, and animal outputs. Yes, this map does do that. We didn't look at the prices screen. We'll go back and take a look at that here in a little bit. I'm still kind of trying to refine my overall process for FS22 map videos, but this map does indeed have sell points for all of those particular elements. So again, I think this map gets a full point on that regard. Can farms be customized? The elephant in the room. Yes, but a lot of no's also. So this does not give the map, we don't get a full point, in my opinion, for this particular aspect. I think we're only going to give this a half point. There are multiple player farms, for sure. Only one can be really truly customized in the fact that we can only sell buildings from one farm. So half point is what this map gets. So we can cereal factory for $110,000 right across the street from the Elm Creek Wolves. Let's get turned around. And then trigger and player interactive area is clearly marked. Given that this is a giant map, yes, that is indeed what is going on here. They are indeed clearly marked. The wrenches are interactive areas where we can buy, and then once purchased, we can interact with the buildings, like the fair dairy here. It's a cool spinning milk jug on top. Then we have our dairy dump station. So overall, I would say that I would probably rate this map, if I were to rate this map, and I am going to rate this map, a 4 out of 5. And we're going to wrap it up when we get to the end of our tour with said ratings, and we're going to have a 4 out of 5, where really the map falls over only with respect to the inability for you to customize those additional player farms. Here we have our dump station. So our sell point is right here. And I have to see, what is this? I think this is a transfer silo. Yes, so this is a transfer silo for pretty much any build type to transfer from train to trailer, or really you could just use this as storage also. So an interesting fact about Farm Sim 22 is that you have to rent the train. So for $1,000, you can rent the train for an hour and then make use of it to sell your products or transport your products around the map. So that is where you would go to rent the train. There's, I think, at least one other area on the map that you could rent the train from. And there are sell points, or at least one sell point that is out beyond the map boundary, so it's only reachable by the train. Giants started that with Erlengrot. So here we are at another wood sell point. Okay. See here. Yeah, we can go this way. Again, we'll drive by the non-player farm that we looked at during the drive around. Since we know they don't wait. So there are some various small fields, perfect for a starting farmer, right next to a perfect potentially starting farm location. And then right across the street, we've got some larger fields that a farmer could really expand into, grow into as they increase their machinery, increase their operations. I think this map, since it does include multiple possible farms, would be an excellent option for multiplayer. You could probably comfortably have 5 or 6 independent farm operations going on the map, especially given the fact that there are so many viable land parcels. We are coming up to the next sell point. So we have our dump station right there. Lots of little interesting areas on the map. And we're just going to double up and head up here to check out the next. I believe this is a production area. Oh no, sorry, this is a train rental station. So you can rent a train from there also. Because unlike maps in FS19 and FS17, the train doesn't loop. The train crosses the map, but it doesn't loop the map. Field 71 is a very large grass field. You're gonna get a lot of bales out of there. Here we are at the furniture warehouse. Carpentry shop, $60,000 to buy that production area. And then the dump station and the pallet spawn point, or the product spawn point, is here around back. And the side. Now we're about to get super busy. Lots of trigger markers coming up over here. There is another player area down there. I don't know if we saw that on the fly around. We'll drive down there. That one's really interesting. I have a feeling we've already went down there, but I'll just go down there anyway. That one's really interesting because it is literally right here at the corner of the map. And I think the map border is done fairly well, that you could probably play down here and not even realize that you are looking at the edge of the map so much. So evergreen. We do have a semi-usable building here because it's so open. It would be nice to be able to make use of the barn. For sure, right? And that shed. And then these down here, right? But be careful. Well, that's it. That's the edge of the map. So I think Giants has really stepped it up with respect to the map borders. Farm layouts here on this map, they really looks like they've done their homework and that they spent a lot of time in trying to get this right. So we have another train rental icon right there. That is not a dump station. So here we have a dump station and a fill station. So this is another one of those train transfer silos. We have a lime fill point. And we'll make our way down this way a little bit. Here we have the grape processing area. And that can be purchased for $80,000. Not to be outdone, we have a stone crusher. This is where we can come to crush the stones that we collect out of the fields for a modest profit. Very modest profit. Here we are at the oil factory. So we have our pallet spawn point, our dump station, and then our interactive trigger area over here at the side door. We can buy the oil mill for $80,000. And we'll head on down the highway. So we've got our shop there. Completely blanking on what this is right down the street. Oh, it's the bakery. The bakery. So just a couple more points of interest, and then we will wrap this puppy up. So we have the biogas plant, which we've already taken a look at. $1.5 million. It has to be bought at that location. Once again, we're running up right here across, or right here alongside the map border. And we're coming up here to the bowling alley. And the bowling alley is a sell point. Really neat animated neon sign on the bowling alley. And then one final area of note. And then we'll go back and we'll take a look at the prices screen and a couple other pieces of information. I got a little thrown because I'm still getting used to where the garage is to go through the your own machinery. And we have the spinnery right here. So we have the dump station for our wool and cotton. We have a spawn point for the fabric that the spinnery is going to spawn. And then we have the spinnery itself for $60,000. Let's go ahead and jump back on up here. Taking a look at the crops prices screen. It is laid out a lot different than it was in 19. Kind of hard to see everything at a quick glance, But if we just run through here, we've got multiple sell points for wheat, barley, oat, canola, sorghum, grapes, olives, sunflowers, soybeans, corn, potatoes, sugar beets. The cut sugar beets can be sold at the animal dealer or the biogas plant. Cotton, sugar cane. We don't have any place to sell seed, which is fine. We don't have a way of producing seed. 3 sell points for our eggs, 2 for our wool, 3 for milk, 3 for wood chips, multiple sell points for silage, grass, hay, straw, flour, bread, cakes, butter, cheese, all have multiple sell points. Fabric, 1 sell point at the grocery mart. Clothes at the grocery mart. Multiple sell points for our sugar, our honey. The cereal goes to our grocers. Sunflower oil, canola, olive oil, all have multiple sell points, as do the raisins, grape juice, lettuce, tomatoes, strawberries. Those are all in the greenhouses that we could put down. Chocolate at 2 places, planks at the carpentry shop, furniture at the grocery mart, solid fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, manure just at the biogas plant, slurry just at the biogas plant. There isn't any place to sell your digestate, but that's fine. You can put it down on the fields. Lime, herbicide, no sell points. Stone goes to the stone crusher that we saw earlier. So that is a check. Yes, there are sell points for all of the included crops and base game construction. We did see our equipment list already. It is all new, well maintained. It has no real hours on it. We do not have any animals at start, and we do have contracts available to us here on the map. We also don't own any production at the start. But as I said, we can buy 10 of the 11 included base game productions available to us here on Farm Sim 22. So guys, that is going to do us for our very first Farm Sim 22 map review, map first impressions video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the format. What do you think of the new idea of the map rating system? This map did indeed get a 4.5. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on up here right now. Big shout out to all of our farm hands, farm bosses, and farm barons. You all do absolute wonderful job in supporting the channel. And as such, I want to say big old shout out to you all and let you all see their credits as that rolls by. All in all, I think this is, in my opinion, one of the best maps the Giants has ever put out, regardless of its faults and the fact that we don't have fully customizable, optional farms that players can sell and completely reconfigure. Aside from that, this map is absolutely outstanding. It definitely raises the bar for every other map going forward. So until next time, happy farming.